Phil, Tom and Jack, also known as the awesome Hollowstar for New Wave of Classic Rock, Webfest4. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, and so is my mini-me. And we're all doing well so far. Now, I know that Tom and Joe, you both had birthdays recently. So why don't you tell us how you celebrated your birthdays?
Yeah, I was 15. And we went to Big Sky and went on the big slides. But to be honest, it was a very different one this year. We had we just had the family popping in and saying hello, and obviously just seeing these guys and just quick hellos, and not being too close to anybody obviously is the key, isn't it? So no big parties, nothing like that. Just a few quiet drinks with a few close friends.
That sounds good. Sounds like an ideal birthday to me. So yeah, mine was very different. So no drinks and no friends. So yeah, so you did well. You played recently a socially distanced gig at Leo's Red Lion. So this was a gig that was organised by the Rock Cooperative, and it sold out like within a few hours. So tell us about it. How was it? Who else was playing? What was it like?
It was awesome. It was just us, to be honest. It was just us on that night. They've put a number of these shows on throughout lockdown, sort of keeping obviously gig goers, giving them somewhere to go, giving bands like ourselves somewhere to go and vent our frustration, I guess, because the whole world has been thrown up in the air, but nothing so much as sort of venues and the hospitality, and along with that is entertainers, not just bands, but it's bands, comedians, anybody who works in that kind of remit where we're essentially not allowed to work at the moment. So having something like that was an opportunity to get back up and not just put a bit of money in our pocket, but also brush some cobwebs off and keep doing what we love it's been a bit of a saviour, to be honest.
Relearn how to play our instruments. I've got a bit of pressure.
So you've got another gig coming up. I want to find out from you whether you know if it's still going to go ahead or as planned. It's the one in Bliston on the 13th of December. So this is the one you announced with Wolfjaw and False Hearts.
Yeah.
Is that still...
I mean, at the moment, we've had no news at the moment. So we've got nothing to tell you, and I don't want to go saying anything that's wrong. So we know as much as you guys at the minute. If I was putting my head into the situation at the moment, looking on obviously what's gone on the news recently and with what's happening with the lockdown coming in again, whether it's going to go ahead, I imagine, depends on how well people stay away from each other, how well people are actually going to work towards stopping this virus, or whether the people just decide that it don't bother me and they're going to go carry on as normal, I guess. So it's left up to the people and how well we react to the next lockdown.
Yeah, so it's like everything. Watch this space, keep an eye on your socials, I guess, for news of, whether it's going ahead still or not. Like, you released your debut album, self-titled album, last year, which was fantastic album. I want to know, do you have another release planned?
We've got some ideas. I don't think we've set a date. I mean, if you asked us probably a couple of years ago in terms of when's your album coming out, I think we were in the same situation. We've got ideas flowing.
Okay.
And again, the lockdown's been difficult as such because we haven't been able to get together as regular as we like. So there's been lots of ideas bouncing around on phones, emails. So it's really just a matter of time finding time to sort of get those ideas together and start sort of putting bits down. But we've got a few bits in the pipeline.
Yeah, we're working on it.
It's
working at the moment.
Yeah.
Again, with work, just so happens, Bennett, that we write better as a collective rather than individually.
Yeah.
So we bounce off each other as we practice rather than going away. You come up with various ideas, but it's not really sort of set in concrete.
And it can completely change
when
you get together.
Yeah,
we're not really a band where somebody comes in and goes, right, here's the album, let's start learning it.
Oh, you've done that wrong.
But no, I mean, we spent a lot of lockdown, like Phil says, bouncing ideas, and we're getting things ready for the right time. Again, it was with the album. It feels like we're going back to how it was with the first album, where it was a long time in coming, and it was waiting for the right time, obviously for us as a band. Now it's waiting for the right time, not only as us as a band, but for when we can do the right things to be able to do the album justice, I guess.
Tours, I suppose.
Yeah, that's it. Like for me, and I know it's not just for me. When we speak about it as a band, the reason we do this and the biggest love out of all of it is getting on stage and going and touring. And your biggest opportunity is to go and put on the biggest shows that you do throughout the year, and to actually get the peak out of what you can is straight off the back of an album release. So until we can do the right tour and the right bits to accompany it, I wouldn't expect Album 2 until that point.
Okay. Now, you do have big plans for this year in terms of appearances at festivals. I think SOS is definitely one that I was looking forward to seeing you at. Are your appearances from this year carrying forward to next year? Luckily,
we haven't had to. We've had numerous conversations with people about obviously moving dates. That tends to be the most regular conversation you have as a band at the moment is this is moving, that's moving, can you do? And as it stands, we haven't had to pull out of anything that was announced for the new dates. So as the new dates come out, we haven't had to pull out of any of them. So
all being well, where can we see you next year? Tour aside.
Oh, I mean, that's a good question, to be honest. Nothing's been announced for next year, massively.
Well, January.
Great British Rock and Blues Fest.
Yeah.
Is it Skegness?
Skegness, yeah.
So we're there towards the end of January. Now, that has already been announced that it's going to be a sort of socially distant setup. So we can guarantee. Well, I say guarantee. There's never.
There is no guarantees at the moment.
But as far as we're aware, with the setup that they're thinking about, that's going to be all good to go. And then everything else, I think, like Joe says, there's so many rescheduled dates. So it's just trying to work with those promoters and the venues to make sure that these things can go ahead as safely as possible. So still very much up in the air, but hopefully we're back to some form of normality, towards spring next year.
Yeah, at the moment, it feels, imagine if you had everything that you need to do written on bits of confetti, you load it into the gun and go, "Boah." And then we've spent the past 6 months walking around picking up bits of confetti going, where does that go now?
That's a lovely analogy. I like that. I think I might have the confetti gun analogy. Yeah. I want to know, have you been getting any better at chess?
It can get any worse.
I've been getting more sober whilst playing.
Have you?
To be honest, I haven't played since last. I do need to get the chess back out again. Maybe
I watched that match. I don't actually know who won because I think I fell asleep before the end.
I don't think I can remember who won.
I don't think there was any winners.
There was no winners.
I know there was a lot of alcohol involved and a few chess pieces moving and some music playing.
That's the best way to play chess.
I was just saying that is the way to do it. Absolutely, yeah. Well, look, I wish you all the best for the rest of this period and for whatever happens next year. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to hear some new music from you soon. Not there's anything wrong with the old music. We love your old music. We just want more of that. Yeah. So take care, guys, and wishing you all the very best. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.
This is rock and roll, burning out to my soul.